What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cedric from TBBN coming to you today with a premium deck profile for Hanzo. We're going to be doing a lot more deck profile for both Premium and V Series, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, give us all the support and love, and let's get started. Okay, so start with the grade 3s. We're going to do 4 copies of Hanzo. He's the main ace card of the deck. His ability is that when you retire 2 grade 0s, you get plus 20,000 power, and then you can bounce as many rear guards as possible, or up to you choosing, back to the owner's hand. And then if you pull that grade 3, they drop the same amount of cards that bounce back to the hand. This card is very good, mainly because Nubatama, you want to be able to gain power and be able to drop. So this is gonna be it's just fun to play. Then you have 4 copies of Evil Stealth Dragon of the new Hanzo. This is really good, mainly because it's also an extender as for attacks. And also during your opponent's turn, you just discard 2 in Superior Ride and get more protect markers. And then you can Superior Ride again to get another protect marker in your opponent's turn. So what's good about this is that if you do it correctly, you have regular Hanzo as your Vanguard, then him into the Soul, and then just be able to have more multi-attacks. So that's going to be fun. And then for our other grade 3s, we play Stealth Roger Prescription Mizukage, and then 1 copy of Shura Stealth Dragon Fusen Kongo. I only play 1 of each. These are both good to kind of provide, like, kind of be like the finishers if need be. Both of them can kind of say, hey, I'm gonna say no Sentinels or for the dragon, and then for him, Mizukage, he basically says, hey, if you drop whatever grade you drop, you can't drop anymore. So if you basically go with grade 0, you can't go with grade 0s afterwards. Grade 1s, 2s, 3s, even. Oh, sadly does not work for G Guard, but if it did, it'd be more broken. So you only play these 2 just to provide like the finishers if need be. Then for our grade 2s, we play 4 copies of Evil Stealth Dragon Zangetsu. Mainly because since he provides us with our tokens, which we can use for Hanzo. And for 1 counter blast, you call up to 1 token, and then all your tokens afterwards will get boosted plus additional 5. The only thing our downside is that you have to waste 1 counter blast just to call 1. It'd be better to be call up to 2. Then you also have Evil Stealth Dragon Yamashibuki, 4 copies of him. Oop, that's the wrong card. You play for this mainly because both Vanguard and Rearguard, it can bounce cards back to your hand, and then call up to 2 Evil Deco tokens, which you can also use to kind of provide extra boosting, or if you want to be able to provide extra protection. And then Rearguard ability is that he gets plus 5,000 for every token. So the more Evil Deco tokens you have, the stronger he's going to become during your turn, which is very good. And then we have the 1 copy of Evil Stealth Dragon Genki. I mainly take this in just to put something in to get the 50 cards. But he's also good because he can also provide boosting, and he gives us plus 5,000 if I have at least 1 token on the field, which is very good. And he also can provide soul charging. And then 2 copies of Evil Stealth Rogue Barbarity Akaro. I just take these in just to tech them in, really. But he's really good because he can actually attack from back row. If you already have enough, if you don't really want to get rid of everything in the front row, he can attack from back row if you sacrifice 2 grade 0s, and he gets plus 15k. So which is really good, especially if you pull more triggers, and then you can just stack onto him. So he can already be a 24k. Then you get more trigger to swing him for even more. So that's gonna be, and you get just for the fun of it. Then we have for the grade 1s, we have Stealth Roger Knight Circle with Fubuki, 4 copies of him. This is the only counter charging card in the deck. I think it's like the only counter charge for Nubatama has, really. But you only play 4 of it, mainly because you want this card to get plus 3. And then if you have less cards face down, he counter charges. So that's pretty That's the main reason why you tech it in. Just to, it could be a counter charge if you need any, but because the only ones we doing all the counter blasting really is Yamashikiri and then Zangetsu. These were only two doing the counter blasting. Zangetsu is kind of like a hard counter blast because not once per turn. So if you need to, you could just keep counter blasting over and over, and then he will just provide the one counter charge. But his ability only triggers if you have 3 or more units. So it's very important that you have, if you can incorporate the tokens into that, which is very interesting. And then also we play 4 copies of Evil Stealth Dragon Kage Sarashi. You play for this mainly because just by killing it alone, you get 2 evil decoy tokens, and also, oh, sorry about that. He lets you search for any Hanzo, so that way you always be able to superior right, or you can have something to put in the soul. Cause I played against Amon, and then Amon forced me to kind of put cards in the soul. So now it's just better to have, now you be able to search, and then just set yourself up for next turn if need be. Now for the Grey Zeros. Now this is a very heavy deck to play. So you want, since we not really have much defense, we play 8 draw triggers. This is just a proxy, but we want to be able to draw into our stuff mainly, and also because it's just fun that when every time I damage check draw triggers, I just constantly draw and always be able to see my stuff earlier on. Then we played the 4 crits. The only reason why we play 4 crits, mainly because, like we said, we're not really as aggressive with this deck, but you still want to be able to damage your opponent a bit. So we have the Stride Fighter crit, and then we have the 3 that say, when your Vanguard attacks, Generation Break 1, Golden Soul, give you Vanguard plus 10k, and then you draw a card. And then we have the 4 heals, and then our starter to draw the card and get a quick shield. So like I said, we're like a more of a draw heavy deck, because when Numental is not as aggressive, but thanks to cards like the new Hanzo, we can be as more aggressive if we need be. Now for the strides, we have the 1 copy of Jinx Stealth Fiend Sakashiki Hime. You play her to kind of help get 20k if you need be. It literally says that Generation Break 1, turn your G Guardian face up, and your opponent has a choice of either discarding a card or not discarding a card. If they do discard a card, you won't get the plus 20k, but if they don't discard a card, you get plus 20k, but if they do, you won't get the 20k. So she's a 35k on her own, and plus her cost lets you turn cards face up, which is good, especially because we added a little spice to it. Then we have 2 copies of Rikudo Stealth Dragon Gandoro Karakan. You mainly play it just to get the extra shield value. So his ability is that when placed, if your opponent has that 3 or more cards plus 5k to the shield, if it's 10 or more, it gets plus 10k. So you want them to be at have 6 cards in the hand at least, so that way you get both 5k and 10k, so making it 30k. But we don't really use this as much. If anything, we will just turn it over off of her. Then we have the 2 copies of Rikudo Stealth Dragon Garakan. You played it mainly because the domination effect, which is you count blast 1, soul blast 1, and then you choose one of your opponent's grade 1 units, and then you take that and make it as you dominate it. Then you use it as for your guardian circle. So this is also good to give you extra shield value, and also to just to get rid of your opponent's unit without having to actually target or retire, in a sense. Then we have the main G unit we use is Rikudo Demonic Dragon Jagameso. This is the main stride unit we want to see using with Hanzo, mainly because his ability is on attack, you kill 2 grade 0 units, return all your rear guards to the hand, and then you call 2, and then plus 10k and a crit. This is very good, mainly because since it's focused on multi-attacks, and also you could bounce cards that you kind of wasted that you didn't want to. So that way now you have, in a sense, you still keep your shield value. And also now you provide more multi-attacks. So for example, which we'll get to that combo in a second. Then we have 2 copies of Endless Stealth Dragon, Mugen Tenbu. You play this for the domination effect. Mainly, you counterblast 1, you turn a copy of him face up, or turn a card face up in general. And then you choose one of your opponent's units. It gets plus 3k for every face-up card you have in your G-Zone. So you target one of your opponent's units, you restand it, as he has you dominate you, and then if you dominate your opponent's unit and they have any skill that will trigger on attack, so combine that with his ability to give them 3k, just makes it hard to stop it in a sense. So then you have Endless Stealth Rogue, Mugen Lord. You only just need 2 of it. His ability lets you dominate as many cards your opponent controls up to the number of face-up cards you have in your G-Zone, which is one of the reasons why we also play this one, because Jinx basically lets us turn cards up early on. If she's like your first G Guardian, you can already turn her up, use her ability to turn another card face up. So now you already got 2 set up already. So by the time you go into Mugen Lord, if you just like your first strike for turn, if you're going like second or whatever turn you go to, then you go to Mugen Lord, you turn him up. So it's already 3. So now you can choose up to 3 units, or you play like Mugen Tenbu, which also turns up. So you kind of want to have Mugen Lord be your last stride. So you kind of want to go early on into as many G's that could turn the cards face up earlier, and then have like Mugen Lord be like your finishing stride, just to get all those multi-attacks in. And then we also have the last card is Endless Stealth King, Mugen Lord Dagoku. Now this one is really interesting because this has domination effect, but you dominate your opponent's G-Zone. And look, so basically you counterblast 1, turn a card face up, and then you choose, is it you choose or? Your opponent chooses 2 G units with power, and then they have to call it, and then you can dominate it and you swing with it. The only downside to the ability is that because G units have Vanguard abilities, you won't really plus off of that, but it's still good to have like the 15k kind of swing on your opponent. So that's pretty good, especially when you pressure your opponent. Like I said, the only downside is that we're not able to kind of like trigger their abilities on attack. Now, if this were to give like, actually no wait, actually we can, right? Oh no, never mind. I actually forgot. We dominate and we get their Vanguard abilities as well. So this is why this is really good. You only need 2 really, just to kind of provide the extra pressure. But Jagamesu is the main grade 4 you want to use in the deck. And that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Again, this is Cedric from TBBN. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys. Please like and subscribe and give us all the support and love. And we're going to give you guys more deck profiles as much as we can. We love you guys. Peace.